What's up, guys? This is Travis Peters, and welcome to the Increase Life. We teach Christians just like you how to live a life of increase and purpose. We show you how to get free financially so you can focus on the big things that God has called you to do. Because you got some cool stuff God needs you to do while you're down here. Let's not let something as small and pesky as money get in the way of that. We're going to show you step by step how to activate God's promise for increase in your life. A lot of people are teaching you that God wants you to prosper, which is true. But not a lot teach you how to actually live that out, how to actually walk in this prosperous, abundant, increased life He's made available for us. So we're going to help you with that. Now, in a previous video, we talked about an increase ingredient, so to speak, which we call your increase avenue. You need to have an increase avenue or two or three in your life. Another way we talked about it was having a field. As you know, in the Bible, a lot of the teachings, the parables, the trainings, the analogies all have to do with farming, agriculture, seed, time, harvest, all these types of things. Well, a field was how you brought increase into your life back then. You could have a field and a farm. You could eat your crops that you grew, but you could also sell them to the marketplace. And that's how a lot of the money was made back then. All right, so in previous video, we talked about what that looks like today in real life and how you must have an increase avenue. I believe it's a non-negotiable. I believe you must have an increase avenue in your life to truly experience the fullness of the prosperity and the blessing God has for you. I'm not saying everybody has to be a full-time entrepreneur. I'm saying you got to have a field. Make sure you watch that video. If you haven't, it's going to help bring a lot of this together. But today we're going to talk about installing money multipliers. This is an Increase Warrior wealth secret. This is stuff we talk about inside of our Increase Warrior coaching program. We can't dive, full into this video here, but that's why we have the coaching program. So right now, while I'm making this, if you guys are interested, you can head over to increasewarrior.com. We are currently doing a free trial of the coaching program. You're going to get a coach. You're going to get a financial framework to follow. We're going to show you how to activate increase in every area of your life, including your money. We're going to show you about creating passive income, creating these increase avenues, how to do all this and put it all together. You get an increase coach. You get an increase community. There's nothing like this program on the planet. Just check it out. Okay. Now, installing these money multipliers. So one of the reasons I wanted to make this video series was because, like I said, there's a lot of people teaching you what, but not a lot teaching you the how. What does that look like in real life? How do we experience these things? Well, a money multiplier, what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about investing, but listen, investing for cash flow. If you've been on my YouTube channel for a while about any of my programs, you know we talk about this. Now, when I talk about having a field or a money multiplier, an increase avenue, or any of these things, hear me out here. I'm not saying you have to stop everything you're doing and become a full-time entrepreneur and go to business school and get an MBA. When I talk about investing, I am not saying you got to go learn the stock market and go to Wall Street and do, no, stop. There are all kinds of ways that we can simply bolt these things onto our lives and experience increase. We can bolt on a field or an increase avenue. We can bolt on a money multiplier into our life. You can keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing your assignment. Keep doing what God called you to do, and we add these things to us. Super quick example. I got a friend who is over the facilities department at his church. So part of it is janitorial. And on the side, he flips houses. So he might make $40,000 from his salary at his church job, his assignment where he knows God's planted him and called him to be. He knows God wants him to be there. But he'll make 40 grand a month flipping houses. So he's not a full-time investor. It's just a skill set he acquired and uses it. He bolted it onto his life. So I just want you to have that mindset. Just, okay, no matter who you are or where you're at, put your shields down and realize this is for you. Anybody can do this. All right, so let's talk about investing for cash flow for a minute. Investing for cash flow is different than what a lot of the financial gurus, quote unquote, teach and tell us. And I'm not going to name any names, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Typically what is taught is you need to save all your money, live like you're broke, put all you can into your 401k or Roth IRA. And this is what your financial planner teaches you. That doesn't sound very fun to me. That's the opposite of what we teach over here at the Increase Life, to be honest with you. That sounds awful. There's also some second, third order consequences of this that not a lot of people talk about or maybe haven't realized. When you take this approach, one, it's not a lot of fun right now, but it's also not a lot of fun later. Here's why. It's obvious for why it's not a lot of fun now, because this puts you in decrease mode. You get to experience the poverty mindset symptoms, scarcity, lack, guilt for spending too much, all the junk, right? This is basically what this life puts you in. There's more to it. Go see my other videos. We don't need to get into all of it here. But here's kind of the worst part, is if your plan is to become what I call a 401k millionaire. So there's these things like the book, The Millionaire Next Door. And it's about, I don't, to be honest with you, like even just talking about it, I'm like, oh. It's the concept of these people who work corporate, cubicle, day jobs and pay their houses off and spend as little money as possible. They live like they're broke. They live decrease, cut everything, save. And then when they're 65, 67, 68, somewhere around there, they got $1-2 million. Plus you take they paid their house off. So you add that on there. Now they're worth like 1.6 million. And it's like, who cares? That's not what, here's the problem. Now they're 67 and they have a big bag, a treasure chest in the bank in the 401k of, let's say, $1.5 million. Cool, but here's the problem, all right? So you got 1.5 mil and you're 65. Well, here's what happens is you're going to go buy stuff. You're going to get your RV or Winnebago. You're going to do a couple trips. You're going to do some different things like that. But the problem is now, in the investing world, we call it a bag. You've got your bag of money. Got your big bag. Well, every month now, you're having to pull from this. And it dwindles. So every month, your bag gets smaller and smaller. There's fees for pulling it out. There's time it takes to pull money out. And basically, it's just, what happens is, and I've coached people in this, exact same spot. They thought they were fine. They went to retirement. And now, they basically fight scarcity thoughts every single day. They still live like they're broke. They still are worried about running out. They still have worries and anxieties about their money. You know why? Because this was their mindset. They began their financial journey in fear, lack, and scarcity. They sowed those seeds, and they are now reaping the harvest and living in scarcity and lack. It doesn't change just because you saved up a bunch of money, and that's not even a bunch. I wouldn't call 1.5 million a bunch, to be honest with you. That's not a lot. I have plenty of friends who make $1.5 million per month. So having worked your whole life to save that and pay your house off. I'm happy for you, but to be honest with you, with God as our dad and our partner, that's not a lot. We can go bigger. We can believe for bigger and get bigger than that. I want to encourage you guys. As an Increase Warrior, that's nothing. We can go way above that, way beyond that. I'm happy for you, but on the grand scheme of unlimited life, unlimited power at our fingertips, unlimited access to heaven, it's not a lot. A lot of this is done, you guys got to understand this, in the natural, in the arm of the flesh. This is me trying to be super disciplined. This is me trying to spend as little as possible, trying to live like I'm broke. All these types of things, just so I can save up and put money in my 401k, Roth IRA. You, as a child of God, I'm trying not to preach too much. As a child of God, you can do both. You have access to the increased life. You can live the life you want now and later. See, we teach this inside of our programs is financial gurus who do not add on the God element, the faith element, the biblical element. They can only teach you what to do in the natural. And so it's all up to you. What we do is we add God's super to our natural. We have faith, but we also have actions too. We put them together and you can build the life you want. You can create as much money as you want to create in this life, now and later. It's not that, see, they teach it's now or later. We say both. We put you in the land of both, not the land of or. So you can either, I heard one guy say, you can either buy the Jordan shoes now, they're $100, or you can put that $100 in a Roth IRA, and in 42 years, that $100 will be worth $1,000. You would be stupid to buy the Jordans. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. Get the Jordans and put $100 in there. Like, do both. God's got a both. You can do both. Got to increase. Okay. So listen, what I'm trying to say is traditional thoughts of investing to try to just grow a big bag so that you can spend it later, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. You will find yourself living in that same mindset. You're scared now to spend and run out. You will be scared later to spend and run out, and probably even more scared later, because if you're 65 and your money starts to run out and you watch that thing dwindle year after year after year, now you're 82, 83, and you see that there's only a couple 100,000 left, man, you do not want to run out of money before you die. So that's a new fear. See, the enemy's always bringing fear at every angle. Fear that you won't be able to retire, and then once you retire, fear that you'll run out. So let's just eliminate all the fears, because God hasn't given us a spirit of fear. It says he's given us a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So I'm going to teach you guys what you need to know today so that this doesn't become your life. I don't want this to be you. There's nothing wrong with growing a big bag, but we're going to do something also that's, I think, more important. And that's called investing for cash flow. All right? Now, let me explain what I mean. You probably heard it in the business world. They say cash flow is king. And I would agree with that. You could also put cash flow is freedom. Super simple. To become financially free, that's all you got to do. You just need your cash flow investments to bring in more money than your expenses. So, if it costs you 10 grand a month to run your life and your lifestyle, all we got to do is get your cash flow investments making you $12K a month. Then you're a happy camper. That's it. Super simple, right? Well, it is super simple. It's just not a lot of people, especially in the Christian space, teach you how to do this. Or Christians get really weird about actually doing things that make them money. Right? Can we just get over that for a minute? It's why the world is beating us. Christians have, I did a study, there's a video on it, on they have the lowest net worth of any religious or people group. The Jewish culture has the highest, Christians have the lowest. And it's because they're not doing things like this. The Jewish culture is. They are training their children how wealth comes, how to have a field, how to have money multipliers, how to invest for cash flow, how to have a plan, how to get after it, how to go crush it, knowing that God is for them and working with them, that everything they put their hand to prospers. So they're putting their hand to something. God says He'll bless the work of your hands. You got to go do some work with your hands. You got to go do a thing. You got to have an investment out there. Oh, man. Okay. So what does this look like in real life? Now, there are lots of ways to do this. One of the guys I've been learning from, he's got a program that teaches a lot of these things as well. And I liked how he put this here. He said this. He said, I'm just going to draw it out. Think about having an orchard. We've got some apple trees. These are apples on the tree. All right, think about having this. You own an orchard, and every single month you sell the apples but you keep the trees. Sell the apples, keep the trees. This is cash flow. When you grow a big bag and try to live off the big bag only, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want it to be the only thing you do. I'll put it that way. When you grow a big bag and try to only live off of that, it's like you selling the apples and the trees. And so each month you have to sell off one of your trees, or you have to sell off one of your acres of land, so to speak. So each month things dwindle, there's fees, there's time involved, and it's just a painful process, and you got to just watch it get smaller, 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 smaller. But if you have an apple orchard, you can sell the apples every single month, keep the trees, and the trees keep making you more apples. Are you getting this? This is what we need to have in our increase arsenal. This is a weapon of increase. You need an orchard. You need a money tree. This can come in a bunch of different ways, shapes, and forms. There are investments that you know about, like real estate. So I have rental properties, and each month they bring me new money every single month. So the difference would be, I'm not selling the houses, I'm selling the space, the time, and allowing somebody to live in my house. I'm letting them rent this house, and in exchange, they pay me money. This is something that could pay you money forever. You could even pass them on to your kids, and their kids, and their kids. If you had enough of these, your family would never have to work again, and they can focus on what God has called them to do their entire lives. Wouldn't that be awesome? There are investments that pay dividends. There are things called REITs, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts, and it's basically a company who goes and buys a ton of real estate, and then you can buy portions or stocks, so to speak, of that company. So they're a cash flow company. They're creating cash flow through their real estate investments, and you can get paid a monthly dividend. I own some of these. The dividends are small, but it is one way to do it. All right? If you had enough, it would be great. It could be lucrative. There are, if you guys, again, have been around us for a while, we've got some very interesting ones that are in the DeFi space. It's somewhat in the crypto space, but it's not like you think. We create passive income this way because these can pay crazy dividends. A dividend is just like a paycheck, a thank you for letting us hold your money. You put in money into this company and they say, thank you, we're going to use that money. We need this money. We're going to use it to make more money. Thank you so much for allowing us to hold this money. We're going to give you a dividend, a paycheck. And the more money you give us, the bigger dividend I can give you. Thanks. So this is a cool way to create a paycheck as well. I personally have invested in a friend's business, and he is a moneylender. So people who need money, they're in a pinch, in a bind, they come to him, and he lends them the money and makes a percentage on that money. And he gives me a dividend from that because I invested in his money. He needs to have cash on hand, cash in the bank, so to speak, so he can always be quick to give out cash to his customers. And because I gave him a bunch of my cash that he can lend out, he pays me a monthly dividend. This is like one apple tree for me in my orchard. Every single month I sell the apples. Every single month I get a dividend from this investment. So you start stacking these things and it gets pretty fun. So this is different than investing in Ford, Amazon, Tesla. None of those create cash flow. Those are that's you buying a stock and hoping it goes up in value, and then when you're older you sell it. But it is similar to the original thing we talked about, the 401k grow in a big bag style. Again, there's nothing wrong with this, but I don't want it to be the only thing you do. It's actually very risky to do it this way, because I know people who have their entire fortune was put in one or two stocks. So a lot of people, they'll work for a company and they'll be there for 50 years, and the whole time they were investing in getting a discounted stock. They were a shareholder. And on paper, this looked awesome. It looked like they were worth millions, but when that company goes under, they lost it all and had no retirement. Things like this happen. It is common. So the solution is, if you had a diversified cash flow investment portfolio, we call it, what we teach in the Warrior program is a passive income portfolio. So it's a bunch of different types of investments. Each one of them create for you a monthly paycheck. You start building them now, collecting them now. You're going to experience increase today and massive increase in the future because it creates cash flow. There are a lot of famous investors who follow this. Not all of them do, but a lot of them are like, hey, I don't invest in things like Amazon and Tesla and all those. Those make no sense to me. I only invest in cash flow producing assets or dividend paying stocks. Things like REITs. There are some, if you go and Google search it, look up ever increasing dividend stocks, and you'll find quite a bit. You'll find a stock called Noble, which invests in a bunch of these at once, NOBL. And essentially, there are a bunch of companies. There's Target's one of them. These are blue chip, big companies where no matter what, even if they had a bad year, they will still increase the dividends they pay out to their shareholders. So I'm invested in some of these as well. Dividends are your paychecks. Dividends are your cash flow. Are you guys understanding why cash flow is freedom? All you need is a passive income portfolio that pays you more than your expenses. And again, this is going to create a happy person, because now you have actual freedom. That's what this really is, guys. So in the last video, I talked about having an increase avenue. So you now have a way for money to come into your life. And then now you're going to bolt on a money multiplier so that it creates passive income back into your life. And then we go back to money multipliers. So listen, I want to give you a little secret. We'll wrap it up here. But this is how the wealthy operate. This is what most Christians don't understand. This is why the rich get richer. They're not doing anything greedy or selfish. They just know these principles and operate in them. It's a deception to think that the rich are rich because they're greedy and horrible and do backstabby things. No, they are rich because they do the right things. Think about the parable of the talents. Matthew 25. Have you guys read that lately? Listen to this. Oh wait, no, I just pull it up here on my, let's let you guys see it. Yeah, bro. Let's go to Matthew 25. Listen to this. You need to understand this. Okay, starting in verse 14. The kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone. He gave 5 bags of silver to one, 2 bags of silver to another, and 1 bag of silver to the last, dividing it in proportion to their abilities. So when I was studying this stuff, guys, you need to understand this. According to their abilities. Abilities are acquired and developed. These people did not instantly know how to do this. They had to acquire a skill, gain knowledge, and develop in it. Then, money was given to them according to their abilities. Look at verse 16. The servant who received the 5 bags of silver. Now, some have estimated this to be as high as $55,000. Some people have said that 1 bag of silver in today's money was worth about 11 grand. So he had 5 of them. That's about $55,000. The servant who received the 5 bags of silver, the 55 grand, began to invest the money and earned 5 more. One of the other translations says, he immediately went to the market and traded it, doubling his money. All right, so this guy took his 5 bags of silver, began to invest the money, invest, and earned 5 more. Now, what earned 5 more? Did he? No, the money did. The money becomes your employee and begins to work for you. See, the wealthy value time more than they value money. The poor and middle class value money more than they value time. We've taught in depth on this in the middle class mindset traps. It's deceptive, but think about it. If you mow your own lawn, I'm not judging anybody, but listen, if you mow your own lawn, it means you value money more than you value time. I would much rather have somebody mow my own lawn for me, take care of everything, make it look better than I could, give me multiple hours back per week, and all the mental stuff that goes with it. I have to look and see that the grass is high, but I don't have time to mow today because we got this, this, and that. And then I won't have time tomorrow either. And we got company coming over tomorrow night. And then I got to think about how crappy my yard's going to look before. No, I don't do any of that. It's all off my plate because I value time. I'll gladly pay somebody else, an expert, to do that thing for me. So what do? I put my money to work for me. My money is my employees. That's what this guy's doing. He's taking his 5 bags of silver and putting those to work, and those are earning 5 more for him. He has his own army of employees. The servant with 2 bags of silver went to work and earned 2 more as well. But the servant who received the 1 bag of silver dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, their master returned from the trip, called them to give an account of how they used his money. Money is meant to be used, not hoarded out of fear of running out. The servant to whom he'd entrusted the 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I've earned 5 more. The master was full of praise. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful in handling the small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate. I like how $55,000 is a small amount to him. The servant, doubling it to $110,000. That's a small amount. The servant who had received the 2 bags of silver came forward and said, Master, you gave me 2 bags of silver to invest. I've earned 2 more. Same thing. Well done. Then the servant with 1 bag of silver came and said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man, harvesting crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. Listen, I was afraid I would lose your money, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here is your money back. But the master replied, You wicked and lazy servant. Okay, listen. It goes on to say, verse 27, why didn't you at least deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have got some interest on it. You're basically saying, couldn't you have at least done the minimum investments? But you did no investments. See, Christians are living like the wicked and lazy one bag of silver, one talent guy. You're living like this. You're afraid you're going to lose your money. So you spend as little as possible. I'm so afraid of being a quote unquote bad steward that you are a bad steward. Are you getting this? Tell me you're seeing this. Tell me the light bulbs are going off. I'm so afraid to invest in a course or a coaching program or buy this marketing or buy this advertisement. I'm so afraid, what if I lose the money? I don't want God to think I'm a bad steward. So I'm afraid I'm going to lose his money, so I'm just going to hide it in the earth. I'm just going to hide it in a checking account. I'm not going to spend any of it. I don't want to lose it. That's the wicked and lazy guy. Don't be that. Here's what's interesting. It goes on. Then he ordered, take the money from this servant, the lazy one, and give it to the one with 10 bags. Give it to the one who did the best with it. He didn't give it to the middle guy. He gave it to the one who did the best with it. To those who use well what they are given. Verse 29 is a key principle. To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. Most Christians live like that guy, the one who does nothing. You're afraid. You'll say things like, I don't know if it's God's will for me to do stuff like this. Of course it is. Read the Bible. It tells you all through it. You didn't read it. To those who use well what they are given. So, we learn from this passage, those who use well are the ones who go and invest. The least you could have done is put my money in the bank and I could have got some interest on it, you wicked and lazy servant. Hey, get that out of his hands. Give it to my good guy who did the best. Give it to that guy. He can do something with money. He goes in and he increases it. That ability to increase and invest was taught to him. Nobody knows inherently. Nobody's born with a magical gift and they instantly know how to trade and double money and invest money. No, you got to learn. You need a mentor. You need a coach. You need a book. You need a course. You need to learn it. You need a teacher. You learn and acquire these skills, then develop in them. And then God can trust you with more because you are gaining more. You're using well what you're given. Oh man, I hope you guys are getting this. This is so backwards to what people are taught. And people will be like, oh, it's not about money, it's about talents. Because the other translation says, the bags of talents. It's not about talent. A talent means money. Please just read your Bible. It's not about like my ability to hula hoop or juggle. It's about investing money. Those are the people who use well what they are given. Christians have to get this. You have to understand this. You've got to learn how to use well what you're given, so more will be given to you, and you'll have an abundance. And you'll hear, well done, good and faithful servant. But if you do nothing because you're afraid to lose your money, what little you have will be taken away from you. Just don't be that guy. Hang out with us. We'll help you. Okay. Whew, I got fired up. I'm trying to get you to use well what you were given. That is how the wealthy operate. So, let me draw this one last piece out. Here's how the wealthy do it. Money comes in. They take that money. This could be from a job or a business or anything. They take that money. And what they do, let me grab this. They buy a money tree. They buy things that bring cash flow. Then they take this cash flow from the cash flow to pay for these things. Cars, house, vacay, expenses. They take some of that money that comes out of here and they go buy more. So they use their money. It basically has this middle step right here. They're going to use their money that comes in from a job or a business, and they're going to start with buying a money tree or a cash flow asset, something that makes them new money. Then they will use the new money to pay for their lifestyle. They will also take some of that new money and buy more cash flowing assets. So just super simple. Let's just say money comes in and half of it goes to investing in cash flowing assets, and then the other half goes to their expenses. Guys, this is how the rich get richer. Is because the more you do this, next thing you know, you got a ton of money trees. And each time you get one of these money trees, it's the snowball effect. Man, that cash flow just starts coming and coming and coming. So like I invest in my friend's lending business, and then that makes me enough money that my house is paid for. All right, cool. Now let's take a little bit of that and then go buy another thing, invest some more. I've got 2 rental properties. All right, from those 2 rental properties, it makes my car free with extra. All right, cool. My decentralized finance investments, my foreign exchange investments, these all pay cash flowing dividends to me. My REITs that I told you about all pay me monthly paychecks. You start adding this thing up, you get 6, 7, 10 of these, 15 of these, you're in a good spot. And you've got abundance. Remember, to those who use well what they are given, they will be given more and they will have an abundance. Well, he tells you what using well means to invest it. I would say let's use it in a cash flowing situation. And then here's what's cool about the parable of the talents. At some point, you get to become the person who goes and gathers servants to increase your money for you. And you have stewards and managers over your money who go and buy real estate for you, go and buy stocks for you, go and buy businesses for you. Ooh, that's a fun place to be. So this is why the rich get richer. The poor and middle class do it like this. Money comes in from a job. It could even be our business. And it goes directly to cars, houses, vacay, expenses. This is how the poor and middle class live. Because they're never building anything. See, this is building something. This can be legacy. This is building something that can be passed on. And imagine if you started building and collecting these things now, and then you gave them to your kids, and your kids built onto them as well their whole life. Since they're going to start from your shoulders, they're not going to start from ground zero. I had to start from ground zero. Your kids don't have to start from ground zero. They get to start from your shoulders. So you give them a passive income portfolio that they can live off of and continue to build. You teach and train them how to build it. Then imagine what they can pass to their kids and their kids and their kids. Man, you could get this thing making you $1 million a month in time. And hey, I think when God adds his super to your natural, it can go even faster than that. You get to $1 million a month with your passive income portfolio. Build it, grow it, pass it on. Build it, grow it, pass it on. Build it, grow it, pass it on. This is kingdom wealth, guys. This is getting your family out of the curse of toil and the toiling trap that you've spent your whole life in, working for a paycheck, doing something you hate, making someone else wealthy. God's given you the power to get wealth, Deuteronomy 8:18, to establish the covenant he made with your ancestors. Got to use well what you're given. You need to create a passive income portfolio, cash flowing assets, cash flow investments. That's what you're investing in. 401ks, Roth IRAs, that's fine if that's a piece of it. But if it's your only thing, I don't think it's going to work out as well as you thought it would. We'll start learning how to do cash flowing assets. If you want to learn more about this, we go deeper inside of the Increase Warrior Coaching Program. You can click the link below and you can try it out right now. But I want to help you guys get these things going and rolling. In fact, depending on when you see this, it may have already be live, but we have our own passive income investment that just our members can invest in that pays out a monthly paycheck to you. So that's something that's available, again, only for Warrior members, but you can check that out by clicking the link below. So let's get you on this path. Let's get you operating like the wealthy. It's going to be a good time. I want to help you guys win. Make sure you like this video, subscribe. There's going to be more in this series. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss the next one as we put all of these pieces together for your increase arsenal. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for watching this video. I hope it blessed you. I think it did. I want to let you know about our 2 programs that you need to be a part of if you want to learn how to activate increase in your life in every area. First thing, if you're brand new, I want you to click the link below and go through the Increase Challenge. This is a 5 video and 5 assignment challenge. It's like an increase boot camp for your finances. And what it's going to do, it's going to show you all the hidden poverty mindsets you didn't know were there that have been holding you back this whole time. We're not going to tell you how to budget. In fact, our whole goal is to get you out of the budgeted life. That's what makes this so special and so different, because you got big things to do for God, and I don't want to let a budget hold you back from that. And then 2, if you want to go further, faster together, we have the Increase Warrior Coaching Program. This is where you get to work with me and my team, and I'll take you through the increase method. It's a 4-step framework that will create increase in every area of your life. We show you how to tap into increase in the area of your faith, your finances, your family, your fulfillment, your fitness, and as a bonus, we're going to have a ton of fun as well. So we've got frameworks and step-by-step formulas that will help you experience the increased life that God has for you. We're going to help you become that increased warrior that God has called you to be. We're going to change the world, we're going to make a lot of money, and we're going to help a lot of people. It's a fun way to live. So if you'd like our help doing that, implementing that, and executing that inside of a kingdom community where we can hold each other accountable, encourage each other, and just keep our faith built high, we're going to draw closer to God and make friendships that last a lifetime. I'm telling you, it's an awesome program. Click the link below. Come join us inside the Increase Warrior Program. Can't wait to see you on the inside.